Hi there, this is Miss Wismar coming to you from the Library Media Center. Just a little information about how to access some resources for your Shakespearean research project. Shakespeare is always a very interesting person, and his works are always very interesting to research. However, you do need to know some tricks of the trade when it comes to researching Shakespeare. There's so much information out there that you need to know the best places to go. So, here is the best place to start. Go to the Bethel High School webpage. You're going to go to the Media Center, and you'll find underneath our vertical menu, well, you'll find all sorts of interesting things, but you will find Digital Pathfinders. Click into the Digital Pathfinders, and underneath English as your subject area, you'll find a Pathfinder specifically for Shakespeare. This Pathfinder will walk you through all of the different resources available. Okay, so first thing, why is researching Shakespeare different from other literary research? Well, it is because there's so much information out there. Shakespeare has been covered ad nauseum. That means a lot. So when it comes to it, you need to know where to look. This Pathfinder will guide you. It also has a very interesting little mini biography of Shakespeare himself. Please do feel free to email me. Here's my email address if you have any questions using any of these resources. First thing, print resources. Yes, there are still books in the library, and they are very useful. First thing you might want to do is go to Literary Index and do a quick title search of the work that you're looking for. So, for example, if I were looking for, let's say, Macbeth, there it is. I can add an author's name as well. And I can do a search, and you'll see there is Macbeth, William Shakespeare. Sometimes you'll get a lot of results. Just make sure you're looking at the correct one, because if I were, for example, only to do Macbeth and not add that Shakespeare, you'll see a lot more comes up because people have written about Macbeth a lot. Okay, so you'll see this page of gobbledygook, and just as a reminder, these are all volumes of different books that have information, different criticisms in them. So you can go ahead and see if we have a book in our collection by highlighting, for example, literature and its times. You'll see I have it listed right here. Search for reference resources by using author or title. That's what we just did. Cross-reference in Destiny. So click into Destiny. This is our catalog. And that title that I just highlighted, Literature and Its Times, I'm going to look for it, and I'm going to see, does our library own it? Because just because it's listed here doesn't mean we own it. There are a lot of books that we don't own, of course, because we're a school library. But I can always try and help you find things if you're interested in them. This is basically just an index that shows you that there's an article on Macbeth by William Shakespeare in Literature and Its Times in Volume 1, pages 225 to 230. And you'll see right here, we do have 4 of 5. We have Volume 1 available in our reference collection. So you would be able to find that and utilize it in your search for different resources. If you needed to look for other things, we do have Shakespeare for Students. We have some of the Shakespearean criticism. We have some world literature criticism. Just double check that we have the correct volumes in our collection. If you have any questions on that, please let me know. I know that's definitely not something that everyone is always used to using the books, so please let me know if you have any trouble. I do have the suggested reference books, Shakespearean criticism, literature and its times, and Shakespeare for Students is also very helpful, but is not a Gale product, so it doesn't have it listed in the, actually it is a Gale product, but it doesn't have it listed in the literary index. So you can always look in that collection itself, and it has a lot about the different plays by Shakespeare. Remember, this is a little disclaimer, remember to look through the table of contents and the index for page numbers of articles that relate to your thesis. Always good to have some keywords in mind too when you're doing searching, because you might want to look in the index and see if you happen to be looking for the role of Lady Macbeth in Macbeth, then you might want to specifically look for Lady Macbeth in the index. Always a good hint. You might also want to try Google Books. I do suggest you use our print resources because we definitely do have a lot of good ones, especially for Shakespeare. But if you happen to be, at home or whatever, and you're interested in seeing what there is, you can see I just did a really quick, Macbeth, William Shakespeare kind of search, and you'll see there are some digitized versions of books available. So you can go ahead and see, you can explore it the same way you do as a book and see if it has, the table of contents. You'll see this book was written all the way back in 1893. But you can see the table of contents, and you can use information from this. Of course, it's available. It's just digitized. So if something is available on Google Books, always an interesting place to look. And also so that a lot of Shakespearean, especially books, works are available on Project Gutenberg as well, which is just an EPUB version of the different plays and stuff. Something good to know, kind of going forward. Berg.org. Gutenberg.org, which is Project Gutenberg digitizes a lot of books and plays and poems and works that are in the public domain. So that's another good place to look. Databases, you will want to visit the Library Media Center's database webpage. I have linked in the Pathfinder a database passwords document that gives you all of the information you would need to be able to access the databases from home. Make sure you do access this in case you happen to be doing some of your research from home. So in here you will see some of these. Usually, like if you're using like a Gale one, like Literature Resource Center, which is one of the most popular ones, your password will just be Bethel. Usually it's a pretty easy password. It's usually like Bethel High School and Wildcats or something like that. But it all is linked right here. Some of the ones you will definitely be using for this project include JSTOR, which is academic journal articles, very scholarly works, something you'll definitely be using in college. Good place to look for some articles. Remember, when you're using JSTOR, though, little disclaimer, make sure you use the advanced search, because you want to make sure you have a narrow search. So if you're doing language and literature, you want to make sure you're clicking into language and literature. Otherwise, you will get a lot more resources than you possibly want to look at. So make sure you do use the advanced search option in JSTOR. You will also probably be using Literature Resource Center. And you can also see I have Literary Index linked there. Literature Resource Center is another good place to look online. Macbeth. You can see, there it is. It gives you some suggestions. And the nice thing about using this database is it actually has these little limiters on the side of the page that will kind of guide you. If you're specifically looking, you'll see that there's a lot about this. It says 960 literature criticism on it. And usually the first ones are pretty good, actually. You can see Macbeth overview, things like that. But you can see maybe if you want to, compare it to something, or if you're specifically looking at, oh, this one's always good, topic and work overviews. You can also look at the tabs and see, why do they always ask me if I want a survey? And see if there's something in here. If you're focusing specifically on the character, you can see the limiters kind of help me. Psychological conflict within Macbeth, you can see that kind of guided me into that. So those limiters can always be kind of helpful. Or you can do an advanced search where you would look for a combination of keywords. So you might want to do a keyword like psychological and Macbeth, and Shakespeare is who it's by. And I wonder if this will come up with anything, and we'll see. And see that it'll bring me, to some more specific things by using those different keywords. So also a good trick to kind of narrowing in on the things you want. Remember, not much online available when it comes to literary criticism, and some stuff for Shakespeare you can find online, like Google Books, or here's a site called Shakespeare Online. Those ones are fine to use. You can find them, but you might as well really rely on the real criticism that you find in the databases and in the print resources. Little information about if you're writing a work cited, please visit our MLA resources webpage if you want more information about how to cite something, or you can always visit Ms. Wismar. Remember, the databases automatically have the articles linked, and they have the citations available for you in MLA format. You can also create your own Noodle Tools account or use one that you have already pre-created. If you've lost a password or something like that, just let me know and I'll reset it for you. And here's a little link to turn it in when you are all done with your paper. Please let me know if you have any trouble accessing anything or if you have any questions about anything along the way. I'm available here in the Media Center, or you can email me at wismarj@bethel.k12.ct.us. All right, thank you very much and good luck exploring your Shakespearean research.